relationships. Think about your relationships right now. And I mean that in relationship, literally, to how you feel physically. Feeling. So let's start here for a moment, okay? Emotional health allows people, emotional health, emotional intelligence allows for us to recognize, understand, and successfully handle our feelings. And that's super important. When we are out of touch with our emotions and feelings, this is when dysregulation of the nervous system occurs. It gives people the ability to navigate the normal stresses and challenges of life in a way that is healthy and productive. As a result, emotionally healthy people enjoy strong self esteem, healthy relationships, and healthy coping mechanisms. So, I would love to ask you, yes, creativity. Thank you, Michelle. I'd like to ask you right now, you don't have to write too much, but I want to check in with you about what I just read in terms of if you're emotionally healthy, if you are cultivating emotional intelligence in your life, do you find that you have a higher self esteem? You have higher self esteem for yourself. Do you also find that your relationships tend to be healthier? That you have healthier coping mechanisms? Are your relationships right now in your life, do you tend to have clean relationships? And what I mean by that is there a nice knot, a nice bow tie where you've tied up your knot. There are no loose strings in your relationships. And the reason I'm asking that is because also we're coming to the end of another Julian calendar year. Okay, so back to your relationships. Think about your relationships right now. And I mean that in relationship, literally, to how you feel physically, right? So are there relationships that bring you pain when you think about it? Unfinished relationships that bring about some pain, that bring about resentment, that might bring some bitterness. Do you have any of those relationships in your life? You don't have to tell me more about it if you're not comfortable, just yes or no. Maybe you have some that are left unresolved. Michelle writes, increasing my emotional wellness has come with a bit of heartache with releasing some relationship. But through that, I feel less constricted. How many of you have had heartache from having to eliminate some relationships in your life? Or if not eliminate, you have to breathe them out, right? At some point through our own personal evolution, it's not that we want to cut people out, although after a while, if there are too many people with negative feedback, with negative energy, just even energy, they don't even have to say much, but you can feel the heaviness in their energetic sphere. It's time to create some boundaries, some parameters. And that's what I mean before about focusing on your life force, on entertaining, cultivating, creating more youthful energy in your life. If you have people who are energetically draining around you, there's no way that you can balance a very healthy life force that physiologically, physically, you are super healthy. Not if you're surrounded with people who tend to be negative, who tend to look at the glass half empty. For example, the worst of all is gossip. If you have people in your life who gossip, it is up to us. It is up to us, to me, to you. I really invite you to practice this. If people gossip around you, put an end to it. Meaning, you can very mindfully invite someone into considering not gossiping simply by saying, I prefer to not talk about this person if they're not present. That's a really good way to do it. I prefer to not talk about this person or people when they're not present. I just feel it's healthier to have that type of conversation one-on-one.